Over the weekend, Jeb Bush got a little pissy during a town hall in South Carolina. Now, let's watch him complain about how he could be doing some really cool things instead of campaigning. Watch.
If this election is about how we're going to fight to get nothing done, then I don't want any part of it. I don't want to be elected president to sit around and see gridlock just become so dominant that people literally are in decline in their lives. That is not my motivation. I got a lot of really cool things that I could do other than sit around being miserable, listening to people demonize me and me feeling compelled to demonize them. That is a joke. Elect Trump if you want that.
Well, the guy really sounds like he wants to be president, right? I'm pretty sure that he'd rather be out there doing cool things. That's just my personal opinion. As for what cool things they are, I don't know. I'm actually kind of curious to know what kind of cool things Jeb Bush would actually want to do. Now, odds are, and they're getting better all the time, at least in my opinion, is that he's going to have some time to start doing those cool things. Why? Well, for one, he's not doing very well. The base doesn't exactly like him. They're not exactly excited about a Jeb Bush candidacy. I don't see anybody really being all that excited. He's polling at 5% nationally. About 5 to 7%, depending on what polls you look at. But it's roughly about the same sort of area, that average, 5 to 7%, which is not great. Then again, still a big field, to be fair. The second thing that's a little bit more telling about the state of his campaign is the fact that he just slashed staff in several different states, several key states. There are a lot of people who are now staffers that are now getting no money. They're volunteering, essentially, working for free for the campaign. And they're trying to slash their budgets and save a lot of money. Now, wait a minute here. I thought Jeb Bush was getting a ton of money. Well, he is. At least his super PAC is. Well, super PACs can get unlimited donations from the same rich people over and over and over again. But when it comes to your general campaign, you have a $2,700 limit, which means those same donors can only donate once to his general campaign. And remember, a super PAC can only run advocacy ads. They can't actually fund campaign infrastructure, and that's what Jeb Bush is lacking. So make no mistake, he has a lot of money poured into a super PAC, but he can't use that to open campaign offices and pay staffers. They can only strictly run advocacy ads. So there's one indication that Jeb Bush is in trouble. He's running out of money. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. As I said, your super PAC can only do so much. Now, I could be wrong. But this is my opinion. I think Jeb Bush is sort of on the outs. And my evidence, if you need some, is that even Fox News has started to turn on him. Recently, Megyn Kelly interviewed Jeb last week, and she asked him flat out, so what would it take for you to drop out? When are you going to drop out? When are you going to drop out? She asked him point blank. You know you're in trouble when you start getting that question. Remember Lincoln Chafee and Wolf Blitzer? Wolf Blitzer asked him, so when are you dropping out, Lincoln? Oh, I'm not going to drop out. A couple of days later, he was out. I'm not saying that will happen, but it seems a little bit more likely. When the media turns on you, when Fox News turns on you, that's a bad sign. Another example of Fox News turning on Jeb Bush was yesterday, where a Fox News panel took the clip that we just watched earlier and basically criticized Jeb Bush for it. Let's watch some of that.
Hey, Charles, what struck me from the weekend most, I think, was the Bush soundbite. It seemed like it jumped out from all of the sound from the weekend.
To use a Trumpianism, it was pathetic. And this is not very presidential. You look at the two sound bites, the Trump and the Carson, and the Bush versus the Carson. How do you react to personal attacks from Donald Trump? And you can see why Carson's running about 3 times ahead of where Bush is.
But you're right about the Jeb comment, because when you think back about the demeaning comments in politics, or not demeaning, or difficult attacks, I mean, it's a primary. People are going to be arguing and going back and forth. Politics is a blood sport. It's not pleasant sometimes. The Bushes certainly benefited from the Swift Boat campaign against John Kerry. They certainly benefited from the Willie Horton ad, originally brought up by a Democrat, but they obviously benefited greatly. So the idea that Jeb Bush is the only person criticized in this campaign, I mean, I think all of them have gone through the gauntlet, and probably Trump more than anyone, at least by most establishment media outlets and most establishment journalists, who wrote him off repeatedly and still deride him and ridicule him. And that's fine. That's the way it is. He's going to have to deal with that, and he's going to have substantive answers to their concerns. But I don't think it gets Jeb anywhere to stand up there and say, well, I have a lot of cool things to do. I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
And so did Eric Cantor.
I mean,
Ouch. Oh, Laura Ingraham with the elbow. Oof. That's gotta hurt, man. Yeah, well, I bet he does have a lot of cool things. So did Eric Cantor, who, by the way, joined his campaign. His campaign that seems to be going absolutely nowhere. Now, look, as I said, this is speculation, right? And I could be wrong. And let me stress this. But what I see from looking through different things, finances, and of course how the media is treating him in the polling, of course, all that put together, is there's a lot of red flags. There's a lot of red flags. Now that could change. Maybe a strong debate performance tonight or tomorrow night. Maybe. Or something changes, or somebody drops out and that support goes to Bush. Could happen. I don't know. But I do see a lot of red flags. And my personal opinion is, I'm not sure, I'm not entirely convinced that Jeb is going to make it through this campaign. It may not be tomorrow, may not be next week, but I think it'll be soon. I don't think Jeb Bush is going to make it.